I did receive some good news yesterday. So it looks like the Ultra Premium Collection from Scarlet and Violet 151, as well as the other releases that come out next week, so the Alakazam box and the Zapdos box and the Mini Tins have arrived at distribution. Several distributors have reported that they have received the product in, which means they should be shipping very, very soon. And why that is important is because one of my subscribers is going to be taking home this binder right here. What is this binder, Fanny? Well, this is the Fanny Master Set for Scarlet and Violet 151. So this has everything in it that we currently have, all the way up to the promos. This is the entire master set. I'm giving this away to one of my subscribers, and I'm going to be doing that in the video where I open up the Scarlet and Violet 151 Ultra Premium Collection. So the winner should be announced like Sunday or Tuesday, depending on when they ship. The winner should be announced very, very soon. So if you want to enter to win the Fanny Master Set of Scarlet and Violet 151, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and then go back to the video we posted on Friday where we go over pull rates for Scarlet and Violet 151. Leave a like and a comment on that video. Boom, you are entered. I'm going to let the random comment picker do its thing, and then when we open up the Ultra Premium collections from Scarlet and Violet 151, I'm going to announce the winner. So just subscribe, like, comment that video, and boom, you're entered. You can win the Fanny Master Set for Scarlet and Violet 151. Speaking of Scarlet and Violet 151, we're going to kind of talk about that, do a little bit of a comparative analysis, so to speak, with Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is the last specialty set that we had release for Pokemon. Now, it's not the same by any means. There's a lot of differences. Crown Zenith, for example, has a ton more Ultra Rares. Much better hit rates, but that's because it has a ton more Ultra Rares. Also, you got 10 packs in an Elite Trainer box, as opposed to 9 that you get in Scarlet and Violet 151. That actually makes a big difference. So you're talking about a $6 difference, even though the prices are the same as far as value goes when it comes to opening product. It's $6 less expensive to open up Crown Zenith as opposed to Scarlet and Violet 151. But the thing that we want to pay attention to is really price charting and why it's so important right now, and paying attention to the price, not FOMOing at all. I know it's a little difficult right now to find some Scarlet and Violet 151 products out there. However, we would assume, now the release schedule is a lot different with Scarlet and Violet 151. They're basically doing 2 waves of products. So we had the releases on September 22nd containing the Elite Trainer box, the booster bundles, the binder collection, and the poster collection. And now we have the other products coming out on October 6th, next Friday. That's going to be the UPCs, the Zapdos box, the Alakazam box, and the Mini Tins. So a lot different. If you remember Crown Zenith, basically a new wave of releases came out like every month for the span of 6 months, and it took until like June before they finally finished releasing Crown Zenith products. And then they surprised us and put out a Lugia box, and now they're putting out another Morpeko box, and they're doing a big reprint of Crown Zenith ETBs. So there's plenty available. So if we're charting and trying to understand the supply for specialty sets, 151 is going to be around for a while. If they do even something somewhat similar to Crown Zenith, you can expect to see plenty of Scarlet and Violet 151 out in the wild for quite some time. I know it's a little tough right now for a lot of people, but as long as you're patient, you don't FOMO, and you're like, okay, well, I want to open this set. I want to have a lot of fun with this set. I'm going to wait for the singles to come down in price, and I want to open up some packs. Just be patient. Like it's going to continue to be available for quite some time. There will become a time where you're able to go into Target or Walmart and you'll be able to find some Scarlet and Violet 151 products sitting on the shelves. It may not be until after, a few weeks from now, or maybe even until after the holiday season, but there should be some available. And it's important to look at this schedule and how release happened, because if you remember, when Crown Zenith originally came out, there was a giant spike because demand was really high, and then things really started to level off and things started to shut down. Also, it's important to remember that while pull rates are much better for Crown Zenith because there is so many more Ultra Rares, the chase cards that you wanted out of Crown Zenith were harder to pull. So a gold card, for example, in Crown Zenith was about 1 out of every 100 packs. You had to open up 400 packs at least if you pull perfectly, no duplicates. Variance always plays a factor in order to pull all those gold cards. Now for Scarlet and Violet 151, special illustration rares, which is probably the chase cards for these sets, like that Charizard, that Erica, 1 out of every 33 packs. So you should pull about 3 special illustration rares at least for every 1 gold card that you would pull out of Crown Zenith. So variance plays a huge factor in all this stuff. And obviously Scarlet and Violet 151, like I said, a lot less Ultra Rares to collect than Crown Zenith. I'm going to flip you guys around so we can talk about things a little bit more in depth here. This is the Crown Zenith Elite Trainer box. Now, usually I don't like to look at pre-order pricing because it does play an impact, but I think it's important because we're in that kind of pre-order pricing window for Scarlet and Violet 151, right? Things were a little bit overhyped, came back down to normal during the weekend as soon as Scarlet and Violet 151 released, and then started climbing back up. You see that with singles. So, I mean, the Pikachu was lower, a lot of the starters were lower, the Alakazam EX Special Illustration Rare was $20, and now it's selling for $45. Like, it's all over the place. But that has happened historically with a lot of other specialty sets, especially Crown Zenith. So here's the Elite Trainer box right here. You can see pre-order pricing in December all the way down to $40, $42, $43. If you bought Scarlet and Violet 151 early enough, you probably got to pay $43, $44, $45 for an Elite Trainer box. But then when the set released in January, you can see it started climbing and climbing and climbing to the point where it got up to about $65. You can see it selling for $64.97. That was in August of 2023, but right above $60, $62 here in February and in March. ETBs were a little bit more difficult to find. It was the first wave of releases. They didn't reprint it for quite some time. Started going down a little bit before jumping back up in August to that $64.97, and that's when they announced the reprint for Crown Zenith Elite Trainer boxes, knowing we're going to be getting a bunch more of them in a few weeks here. And now look at what's happened to the price. It really started to go down. It's sitting at $53.98 currently and continuing to trend downward. There's companies that are putting up pre-orders for the reprint of these under MSRP. So there's going to be plenty Crown Zenith available. You would expect maybe 8-9 months down the road for Scarlet and Violet 151, there might be another large reprint of Elite Trainer boxes, which is going to drop the price considerably. Here's the Crown Zenith booster packs. Can't even talk right now. Here's the Crown Zenith booster packs. These have been trending downward basically since release, and the reason behind that is because more and more have become available. So that Morpeko V Union box with the playmat inside, a cool box, but you don't need a ton of those boxes. So a lot of companies, because the shipping is so expensive on those, have had to rip open those boxes in order to sell the content. So they've just been selling loose packs all over the place, and because of that, a lot of loose packs, the prices have come down considerably. You can see the Crown Zenith booster pack right after the set released in January, very close to that one-year high of $6.29, but has been trending downward pretty much ever since then and dropped in August of 2023. After all of those products came out, there was a flood of Crown Zenith products, really. Dropped all the way down to $3.75. Now it's gained a little bit of that back, sitting at $4.83 currently, but still, that's basically below MSRP for a specialty set. You're looking at about $4.99 for booster packs when it comes to Crown Zenith as far as MSRP goes, and I would expect this to go down a little bit more as more and more product comes out over the next month or so. If we look at the chase cards, here's that gold Giratina that we were talking about earlier. It did pre-order for some pretty ridiculous prices. It was selling for over $170. Really, January is the price point where you want to look at, where it was right around $140, but then considerably dropping all over the place, all the way down to sub $100 levels in May of 2023 and continuing to trend downward in August of 2023. Hit that one-year low of $80.26. It's gained a little bit of that back, sitting at $87.82. But if you compare this card, which has harder pull rates than what a lot of other cards in Scarlet and Violet 151 have, this will give you a good idea of what those chase cards are going to sell for in the future. I think the only card in Scarlet and Violet 151 that's selling for more than the Giratina right now is the Charizard EX Special Illustration Rare, so it wouldn't surprise me if that card was pretty high right now and came down to about $70, $75 in the upcoming months. The Arceus V Star, if we compare that to some of the other chase cards from Scarlet and Violet 151, like the Alakazam or like the Erica's Invitation, this trending downward path is something that you can probably also expect from cards like those. So this Arceus V Star did get bought out opening weekend of Crown Zenith and started climbing up in price quite a bit before just dropping down. You can see it's $111.13 high point in January, got bought out on TCG Player opening weekend, and then really started to trend downward and downward and downward. You can see it hitting $70 already in March, and now it's sitting at $58.51 a few weeks ago as a one-year low. It's rebounded a little bit, sitting at $65.32, but still way cheaper than what it was during release weekend. The Mewtwo V Star was selling for over $100. You can see the release point right there, how it skyrocketed up. So in January, it was selling for right around $85, and then the set released, Mewtwo V Star, a lot of copies got bought out right away. It jumped up to a one-year high of $112.05, and look what's happened since then. Saw some huge declines all the way up until May of 2023, where we're sitting right around $60, and it's continued to trend downward after that. In August, it hit a one-year low of $50.64. It's gained about 8% back. It's sitting at $54.10 currently. but you can definitely expect this to either level out or go down a little bit more as more Crown Zenith packs get ripped open. Here's the Palkia V Star. This is another one of the gold cards from Crown Zenith. This one started trending up a little bit after release. You can see it going from $60 up to about $65 on release weekend. And then again, like these other cards, started trending downward very quickly all the way up until May, where it kind of leveled out a little bit about that $40 mark. And Palkia V Star is a popular card in the competitive TCG. Not as popular as it once was, but still has potential moving forward and continuing to trend in the downward direction, sitting at a one-year low currently of $35.04. Here's the Dialga V Star, also not doing extremely well. This one did not get bought out opening weekend. It started out right around that $70 mark and has just been dropping ever since then. Very steep drops over the first few months up until April of 2023. That's where it kind of leveled out a little bit, hit about that $40 mark, and then the decline was much less severe, but $32.30 as a one-year low, which it hit in the beginning of September. It's leveled off a little bit, sitting at $33.42 currently. Here's the Leafeon V Star, another really popular card from the set. This one dropped like a rock really quickly right out of the gates, fell down below $40. You can see that $44.96 mark as its one-year high. We're not including that giant, maybe that's just an outlier there, whatever that is. That was $80 that it sold for right before release. But you can see in January, end of January, it was selling for $44.96 before another steep decline over the first few months of the release of the set up until May, where it kind of leveled out a little bit. Hit $20.33 there in August of 2023. It's leveled off, sitting at $23.06 currently, so still a very much cheaper card, about half the price of where it was selling for on opening weekend. Same thing with the Glacial V Star. You can see this one shot up a little bit after opening weekend. It jumped up to that $39.50 one-year high before dropping down in March to about $25. Started climbing a little bit and then dropped again in May. It kind of leveled out. It hit that $20.23 mark currently, which is just above its one-year low of $17.74. The Irida has not performed well. Really, a lot of the full art trainers in Crown Zenith have not done very well at all. Irida, for example, was selling for about $30 at release. You can see $29.82 as its one-year high, and it dropped really quick right out of the gates. In March of 2023, it actually hit a one-year low of $15.16. Started gaining a little bit back. You can see in the summer months, June, July, it jumped back up to about $21. Now it's backed off again, sitting at $16.82 currently. The Suicune, this one's been dropping ever since release, relatively high out of the gates at $39.94. It's lost over half of its value, dropped all the way down to $15.22 at the beginning of September. It's got a couple bucks back. $17.38 is where it's currently sitting. The Raikou V, out of the gates, January started going up a little bit. $28.96 is where it hit at the end of January, so a couple dollars more than what it released at, but then dropped relatively quickly. In March of 2023, it looked like it was going to rebound a little bit, hit $25, and then came back down again. You can see in August of 2023, it hit its one-year low of $15.94, so almost cut in half of where it was on opening weekend. It's rebounded a little bit, sitting at $18.45. Then we've got the Hisuian Zorark V Star, beautiful looking card. I absolutely love this card. This is the last one we're looking at from the Galarian Gallery. This one did get bought out opening weekend, started climbing quite a bit, hit about $27 right out of the gates, and then jumped up about 20% to that $32.18 mark at the end of January in 2023 before really a steep decline after that. In May of 2023, it hit that one-year low of $13.71, so it's lost over half of its value. It's getting a little bit back, sitting at $15.47 currently. Here's the Alessa Sparkle. This one not doing very well either, but definitely the highest out of all the full art trainers in Crown Zenith. This one jumped quite a bit right out of the gate, so you can see opening weekend selling for just below $30, jumped over 20% within the first couple weeks of release, up to that $36.69 mark. And that's really what's important to pay attention to, is the first couple weeks after release, a lot of these cards started increasing by about 20%, which is kind of what we're looking at with 151 right now, before dropping considerably. Leveled out a little bit in February and March, and then dropped down quite a bit again in May before climbing up and then dropping down again. Hit that one-year low a couple weeks ago of $23.64. It's sitting at $23.78 currently. And the last one that we're going to look at is the Secret Rare Pikachu, also a pull rate of about 1 out of every case of ETBs, 1 out of every 100 packs. Started out fairly high. At one point, this was pre-ordering for over $100. Dropped down to $41.86 opening weekend, when pull rates were like, oh, this is much easier to pull than what we originally anticipated. It dropped quite a bit, all the way down in April. It dropped down to about $13, $12, rebounded a little bit, but now it's sitting at $11.26, which is a 1-year low for this secret rare Pikachu. Still a beautiful card, absolutely gorgeous. It's great that it's this inexpensive and relatively easy to pull. But if you look at the Crown Zenith singles and what we're seeing right now with 151, there's a lot of similarities with what's going on after release, and that's not typically what we see happen with set releases. Usually, it very inflated, and then they drop rapidly, really quickly over the next couple weeks after release. Cards drop and drop, and people are like, well, I'm going to wait a few weeks after release and it'll be at its low point. Right now with Scarlet and Violet 151, it's doing a lot more with what we saw from Crown Zenith, where they're going up in price after opening weekend, but as more product becomes open and more collectors are willing to sell their duplicates, then it's going to start dropping quite a bit more, is what I'm anticipating happens. So pay attention, don't FOMO, don't go crazy over 151. It's a lot of fun to open, but make sure that you're not overspending when it comes to it, because it can get addicting to open up some of these packs. And you always want to be the first one with a master set. You always want to accomplish your master set. We only have one more set release this year. We have Paradox Rift. You have a little bit of time, over a month before that releases, and that's it for the rest of the year. So you have plenty of time to collect, open packs, enjoy the set. It's a lot of fun to open, but definitely don't FOMO. The prices are a little bit high right now, in my opinion. We'll look more closely at them on Friday's video, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a really long way for the algorithm. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here and just listen, so thank you so much for that. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Until then, peace.